correct. That is your title. So turn to the next blank page. This is what you are writing down at the top of your page. It is something we have talked about, but we're going to review. Some of you might remember, some of you might have forgotten, and that is okay. It's been a while since you had to translate things from math language into English. So I'll give you some time to write down your title, please. Actually, let's circle division and symbol together. We know there are two symbols that show division. What are those two symbols? Give me one symbol that you know means division. Ariana? Say that again. A slash. Yeah, you might see me use this division symbol. It just looks like this. A slash. That's not the normal division symbol, but remember, I don't have a division symbol on my keyboard. So if I'm typing out a division equation, I'm going to use that slash. That's what I have on my computer. What's the normal division symbol that we see most of the time look like? Evelyn?
It's like a line in the middle and then one dollar.
Yeah. So you've got a line like this, and then a dot on top, and a dot on bottom. That's the normal division symbol that we see. It's the normal one that we use. I just sometimes have to use that slash because I can't make that symbol on the computer. Now, we know that these symbols mean things. We're not going to use words like divided by because what does that even mean? I don't know. Let's write down this equation. Now, a regular person might say, oh, that says 8 divided by 4 equals 2. It's not wrong, but doesn't really mean anything to me. So we're going to translate that into English so I can picture what that means in my head. Let's start with this first symbol. What does this symbol mean? Not your question. Bryson? 8. 8 things. What things? Anything. Anything. Could be 8 socks. Could be 8 cupcakes. Could be 8 Brysons. What a time to be alive. 8 things. Remember, if I am writing, you are writing. John?
Do we learn what multiplication is in English?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Did you forget? The multiplication symbol, John, remember, it means groups of. So we're making groups when we're multiplying. Does that make sense? Okay. So we've got 8 things. What does our division symbol mean? We know this means 8 things. What does this symbol mean? Ooh. Oh, Huxley said I wrote this down before break. Good thing I got a math notebook. So if I don't know, I could be looking for the answer. So just chilling. Kaden?
Put into my groups.
Put into blank groups. Kaden said blank because that division symbol on its own doesn't tell me how many groups yet. It just says, hey, you're going to put it into some groups. 8 things. Put into blank groups. Can you imagine 8 things? Can you imagine putting them into groups? Yeah. How many groups? look at that next symbol. Mackenzie? 4. Right here. This symbol tells me how many groups. 4 groups. So I have 8 things put into 4 piles, or 4 baskets, or 4 shelves.
You ever get what the division means?
We're doing it right now.
You ever get what the division is?
We're doing it right now. All right, so we've done 8 things put into 4 groups. What does this symbol mean? We've done this so many times. Jalen, thank you. Carl?
Has the same value.
Has the same value as got it, John. What does that last symbol mean? And it gets very tricky. What does that last symbol mean? And it doesn't just mean 2. So I have 8 things put into 4 groups. That not 2 things, but you're on the right track. It's not 2 things. Heidi?
2 in each group.
2 things in each group. 2 things in each group. So John, that's what you were talking about. Now I have 4 groups of 2. 2 in each group.
You have to skip out some.
So that 2 means it's not just 2, it means there's 2 in each one of those groups.
But what does the A mean? Is it okay to go each group having 2?
Yeah, that's fine.
What's the A mean?
What is what A mean?
The 8 mean.
The 8 is the 8 things that you started with. So maybe you had 8 cupcakes. And you put them into 4 groups, and so now each group has 2 cupcakes. Evelyn?
2 things.
Yep.
It should be 8 things put into 4 groups.
Sure. Let's add that equal in there, because Evelyn's right. We're going to add a little carrot. Smush it in there. You don't need to erase. Just add a little carrot in there. And Evelyn's reminding us, hey, when we are dividing or we're putting things into groups, it's important that we're fair. We can't give one group 7 things and another group 1 thing. That's not fair. So each group has to get the same amount of things. It has to be equal. Notice I'm saying equal, not even. A lot of us mess that up. It's not even. In this case, it just happens to be even. But it's really just equal. Let's grab some counters. How many counters are we going to need to show this equation? Because you don't need all of them. How many counters am I going to need? Look at our equation. 8, 4, 2. Those are my numbers I'm working with. How many counters am I going to need to show that equation? Kinsey? 8. Count out 8 counters. Put them in front of you. They need to be all the same color. They are either all red or all yellow. I do not care which color you pick.
I don't know what this color is. I didn't understand right now.
I don't care.
Sorry, can we have one time we're walking around?
Just make sure you got 8 in front of you. Give me a secret thumb when you've got 8 in front of you. What are we doing with those 8 things? Bryson, make them all the same color. Look at our equation. What are we doing with those 8 things? We got 8 things. Now what do we do with them, Carl?
Putting them into 4 groups.
Put them into 4 groups. That means you need 4 spaces. Find 4 spaces, 4 piles, and put them into 4 groups.
I like your clothes today.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this kind of imaginary, is I'm going to draw 4 circles. You can do it imaginary circles on your desk. And then I'm going to start putting my counters in each circle. So, all right. One in here, one in here, one in here, one in here. If I did that, do I have extra counters? Yeah. So now I can say, oh, now you get another one. Now you get another one. Now you get another one. And now you get another one.
Can I do that?
That's what you should do. Fix your counters. Now you don't need more counters. Oh, sorry. There you go. For groups.
And do we have to write those circles?
No, you don't. You can just go ahead, imaginary, draw your finger pen, make your groups around your counters.
Do you like 8 divided by 2?
So we've got 8 things put into 4 groups. Means we have how many in each group? Well, look at your counters. How many were in each group? Macklin?
2.
2. There are 2 in each group. Do you see 2 in each group? Perfect. All right. We're going to keep modeling with some counters. In your notebook, squiggle. Squiggle line. Squiggle line.
What if you sell counters?
We're going to use some counters. I just told you that. I bought 12 pencils. And I placed them in packages of 3. Maybe Ziploc bags or something. How many pencils are in each package? What am I counting? We don't need counters yet. I need to know what I'm counting first. What's my unit? What's the thing I'm counting up? Dogs? No, not counting dogs. Huxley? A little bit more specific. Look at that question. I need to know how many pencils are in each package. Let's write an answer sentence. There are, mystery number, we haven't done it yet, blank, pencils in each, I'm just going to write pack instead of package. If you want to write package, go for it. If you want to write pack, go for it. So I know we're counting pencils, specifically how many are in each pack. Not 12. Why is it not 12? This is tricky because it does say 12 pencils, but it's not 12. Why is it not 12? Yeah?
Because that's all of them.
Yeah. Am I counting all pencils? No. What pencils do I care about? Go ahead, Gia.
The pencils in each pack.
Yeah. So, Carl, you're right. We have 12 pencils, and that's important. But is that what I actually want to know? No, I actually want to know how many pencils in each pack. But that 12 tells us, hey, that's the total amount of pencils, right? Go ahead and count out 12 counters. There's all your pencils. They've just become round and little.
That's what I did.
You got 12 counters?
Yeah.
Perfect. Give me a secret then when you've got 12 counters. They can be in a pile. You don't need to arrange them in any way.
That's what I did with the counter.
Make sure you got 12. Make sure they're all the same color. They can be all red or all yellow. I don't care, but make them all the same color. Jalen, why do we have 12 counters?
Because the problem says I bought
funny little pencils you got? Hello, funny little pencils. So those are our 12 pencils. What are we doing with those 12 pencils? The answer doesn't come from your brain. It comes from the story. We got 12 pencils. Counters. What are we doing with them? What are we doing with them? Not a trick question. Madison, what are we doing with them? Packs of 3. What does that mean? Packs of 3? What does that mean? Macklin?
They have 3 packages and they're gonna put missing amount of pencils.
Does it say 3 packages?
We're gonna put 3 in each package.
This is tricky language. Does it say 3 packs or packages? No, it says packages of 3, which means we need to get little stacks of 3. Pick up 3 counters, little stack. Move those over to one pile. Here's my first pile, and here's my little stack of 3. So far, so good? Yep. Do I have extra pencils?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I make some more packs? Go ahead and make another pack of 3.
And that one.
No, I'm drawing it because I don't have counters. So far, so good? Keep going. Till you run out of pencils.
No.
How many packs were you able to make till you ran out of pencils? Kenzie? 4. Double check that every pack got the same number. Like you don't have 5 in a pack. Are the packs equal? I'm not saying even, I'm saying equal. Are they equal? Yeah, each stack got 3. Look at our question though, Carl, because that's tricky. What am I counting? What are we trying to figure out?
Packages of 3.
Nope, look at our answer sentence. There are how many pencils in each pack? How many pencils are in each pack? How many pencils are in each group? I could use the word group instead of pack. Look at your counters. You see your groups? How many ended up in each one? There's 4 in each group. In each group, not the number of groups. Put your hand on top of one group. How many is under your hand? 3. So there's 3 in each of those groups. Does that make sense? I know that language is tricky. So how many pencils in each pack? Let's write a division equation. We're doing this in our notebook now. Ooh, how many things did I have to start? Not a trick question. Ariana, how many things did I start with? 12 things. I'm writing, you're writing. And I put them in groups, right? There's my division. How many groups did I make? Pay attention to what I'm asking. Groups. How many groups did I make? Bryson? 4. Which is worth how many in each group? Leslie? 3. That division equation just matches what we did. Crazy math language matches what just happened. This is just another language to explain, hey, what happened? You?
It tells us how many pencils are in each package.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is packages of 3, so go with 3.
Mm-hmm. This is all practice with that language because the language in division can be very tricky. It's all so similar, you got to read it very carefully. Move your counters back to your pile. Squiggle lines, if you still have space. If not, turn the page, work on the next blank page. Kenzie, just make sure you're writing on the backs of pages. I don't know.
Well, this one, this is your random problem.
It'll be about the same amount of space. Okay, that's fine. It'll be okay, Jen. All right, let's look at our next problem. It says, I have 16 pencils, and I equally place them into 2 packages. How many pencils are in each package? What am I counting? Look at the question part to figure out what exactly am I counting. Alright, so we're going to sit right there with the water. We're not getting up and down. Mackenzie? How many pencils are in each package? I'm using the words right from the question. There are blank. John, we're writing pencils in each package. Hope we good.
Here, what? Is that
Blank. There are, yep, my H didn't connect all the way. There are blank pencils in each package. Kenzie, are you on the notebook on your desk, please? Thank you. All right, well, let's get out some counters. Our counters are probably going to be pencils. How many counters should I get ready? Because I don't need all of them. How many counters do I actually need? The answer's not on my face, but it might be on the board. I think I already know it. How many counters do I need? Kaden, how many counters do I need? Why? Yeah, that's how many pencils I've got. Go ahead and count out 16 counters. Secret them when you're done. Okay, we've got our 16 things. Look at the story. What am I doing with those 16 things? The answer does not come from the ceiling or your notebook. It comes from the story. You've got to look at the story to figure out what we're doing with those 16 things. Evelyn, what are we doing with those 16 things? Yeah, packages, groups, piles, all those are synonyms, whichever word you like best. With your finger, draw 2 piles that you're going to make. Go ahead and start sorting those 16 into 2 piles. Make sure each pile has the same number.
I don't think this might material is open.
So I've got my piles. I like to use dealing out. So I'm a dealer. Like if I'm playing Uno, I might say 1 for you, 1 for you. Do I still have more pencils? Do I still have more cards? Keep going. And that way, I make sure every group has the same number. And I just keep going until I run out of in this case, pencils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Your two groups should look something like that. Okay. How many ended up in each group? They should have the same number. Ariana? 8. Double check you got 8 in each one. If you got 8 in one, you should have 8 in the other. Now, Carl, does it want to know how many packages or how many pencils in each pack? Look at our answer sentence. What do we want to know?
How many pencils are in each?
All right, put your hand on one of the packs. How many are in there? 8. It wants to know how many pencils are in each pack, which is 8 pencils. It's not saying how many packs are there. If it asks you how many packs, what would you say?
2.
Huxley?
2.
2. That's a different question, though, isn't it? Let's write the division language that matches. What did I start with? What did I start with? Bryson? 16.
16. 16
Pencils, good. I start with 16 pencils. Funny little round red ones or yellow ones. What did I do with those 16 pencils? What did I do with them? I licked them. I hope not. Lots of third graders have touched those. Ooh, that's a good way to get sick. Evelyn, what do we do with those 16 counters? Okay, if I'm putting things in groups, that sounds like I'm using what operation? Division. I'm putting things in groups. How many groups? You're right, I'm making groups, but how many groups? Evelyn, you already told me. Go ahead. 2. 2 packages, those are my groups. Is worth, now here's the tricky part. How many were in each one? Okay. 8 in each group. That's the division equation that matches what we just did. Evelyn?
In second grade, I wasn't taught that the equal sign meant that one side equals.
So you've got room, squiggle line, do it underneath. If you don't have room, next page.
Just like the last one we did.
We're going to do one more, actually. Let's do this one.
And then we'll go to the Maxwell's book.
All right. There are 24 counters in groups of 6. How many groups of counters are there? Don't start moving counters. We don't even know we're counting yet.
I go put them back in my pile.
You can put them back in your pile. That's fine. What am I counting? Sit up, Goldie. What is happening with your head? Good luck. What am I counting? Look at that answer sentence. Look at that last sentence in your problem. What am I counting? Theo? No. More than counters. More specifically. When you were in 1st and 2nd grade, you were only counting one thing. Now that we're in 3rd grade, it gets much trickier. Theo? Groups of counters. That's different. We're no longer counting puppies. We're counting groups of puppies. We're not counting Johns. We're counting groups of Johns.
That kind of always embarrassed me.
Sorry. We're not counting Carls. We're counting groups of Carls.
That's also a popular name.
Carl is puppy. All right. There are blank. We don't know yet. We still got to figure that out. The Geo's right. We're not just counting counters, we're counting groups of counters. Geo didn't make that up. It came right from our problem. Literally the question. He just read that question one more time. Didn't make it up at all. That's where he got that. It wasn't magic. Geo is magical, but not in that sense. How many counters should I pull out to solve this? How many should I get ready? How many should I get ready? Mackenzie? 24. 24. Why 24 and not 6? I see the number 6 up there. Why didn't I use 6?
Because we're putting 24 into groups.
Yeah, the 24 is the 24 things. Go ahead and count out 24. If you are some of my FAR groups, I don't know if they're going to have 24. We'll have to make that work. Go ahead and pull out 24 counters. All right, right now I see lots of people with 24 counters. What are we doing with those 24? Pay close attention to the language. I need to see people looking at the smartboard. What are we doing with those 24 counters? Pay close attention to that language. Heidi?
Putting them into groups of 6.
What does that mean? Groups of 6. What's another way to say that? Heidi's looking right here. There are 24 counters in groups of 6. But what does that mean? What's another way I could say groups of 6? Macklin?
That really means like there's 6 in each group.
Perfect. Circle this. Oh, you probably don't have that. Write that and then circle it. Not bad. Write groups of 6 and then circle it.
Can we just write the number 6?
Yeah, that's fine. Same value. AKA, what's AKA stand for? You know? Kaden?
I don't know what it stands for. It means like the same.
It does mean the same thing. Does anyone know what that actually stands for? You're right. That's what it means. Salem?
Also known as?
Also known as. Also is the A. Known is the K. As is the A. Also known as. But yes, same thing. Exactly what Matt said. There are 6 in each group. So groups of 6, aka there are 6 in each group. I'm writing, you're writing. Huxley got this written down? All right. Pick up 6 counters. Pick them up. Hold them in your hand. Six counters. I see very few counters up in the air. There we go. Now we're looking magical. Put them in one pile. They can be a stack, they can be a pile. There's my 6. I put them in one stack. So far, so good? Pick up another 6. Put them in another stack or another pile.
I split my finger. Now they don't.
So far, I have made 2 piles. You have made 2 piles. Do you have more counters? Can you make more piles? Make more. Make sure there's 6 in each one and keep going until you run out. How many piles or groups did you end up making? Kenzie? 4. Quickly put my 4 up there. 6 in that one. 6 in that one. What does my question want to know? Does it want to know how many piles I made? Or does it want to know how many in each pile? Look at my answer sentence. Bryson, that would be on the board. What does it actually want me to tell it? Jalen?
It wants you to tell how many groups of
So how many groups is that?
4.
4. Groups, piles, those are going to be synonyms. There are 4 groups of counters. What if it said how many counters in each group? What would your answer be then? How many counters in each group? Huxley? 6. How does that happen? How do we get 4 sometimes and 6 sometimes?
Because 24 is a big number, and whenever you have to put in groups or instead of them, they're both going to be a different number.
Okay. But why is the answer sometimes 4 and sometimes 6? That seems confusing. I wasn't sure. Why is the answer sometimes 4? Jalen told us 4. Huxley told us 6. Both of those were right, but how'd that happen? Ariana, how'd that happen? Okay, I see what you're saying, right? We're switching our parts if we're talking about part, whole. Okay. Evelyn?
I think it's because those were different questions. Like,
Sure.
they're, like, you asked how many groups of counters one time, and that was 4. But then you asked how many counters in each other.
Yeah, tricky stuff. Because that's almost the same words. But yeah, sometimes they ask how many groups, and sometimes how many in each group. They sound very similar, but those are different questions. So we're going to get a different answer. That makes sense. Let's make our division equation that matches this, and we'll stop here. What did I start with? Remember with division, I got to start with all my stuff. What did I start with? Jill?
You start with 24
24 what?
counters.
24 counters, 24 things. What did I do with those 24 things? It's not a trick question. It's in our story. Zach?
You put them into equal groups.
I did put them into equal groups. Did my story tell me how many groups to make? No. So I had a mystery number of groups. That box is a spot saver. We know a number goes there. But we didn't know at first what number went there. But we did know there would be 6 in each group. That's the equation that matches. What goes in that spot saver? a number. I'm saving a spot for a number. Well, what number? Bryson? 4, because that's telling me the number of groups. How many groups do I have? 4. Hopefully this is coming back to you a little bit. Done a little bit of this. Go ahead and put all your counters in a pile. Look on the ground for counters. Bryson, you got 8,000 on the ground.